Hi teachers, are you wanting to implement cooperative learning or small collaborative groups in your upper elementary and middle school classroom? Do you feel like all of the resources are really geared towards those primary grades and won't work for your students? If you feel this way, I have definitely got you covered. I've got a realistic approach to cooperative learning in upper elementary and middle school classrooms. You can check out my website for a more detailed step-by-step guide to cooperative learning, including free printable PDFs that have desk tags, ISN tape-ins, and posters for your classroom. Or you can check out my blog post that walks you through how I use cooperative learning in my upper elementary and middle school classroom. Now, let's dive in as I share my realistic approach to cooperative learning in upper elementary and middle school. Let's start with the basics. What is cooperative learning? Cooperative learning is giving your students the opportunity to collaborate as a pair, a group, or an entire class. It's offering them a structured environment where they can talk, discuss, come to conclusions, or challenge another person's thoughts respectfully. Cooperative learning is something that can be of great value to our students in the upper elementary and middle school grades. So why do we even need to do this? Well, first off, we need to teach our students how to communicate and speak to each other. In this day and age with social media, texting, emails, students oftentimes don't get a lot of face-to-face time to discuss their ideas, their thoughts, and what they're learning. Cooperative learning gives them a structured environment with a focus that can allow them to practice those traits of communication. The other reason why cooperative learning is very effective is because this is how some students learn. We know that all students learn in different ways, whether it's writing something down, reading it, listening to it, but by letting them speak to each other, communicate, and interact, that's touching another type of learning that will help some students to really fully understand the concepts and to internalize them and hold on to them in their memory. Cooperative learning is helpful in so many different ways. All right, so how can we make this strategy of group collaboration or cooperative learning work for our upper elementary and middle school students? Typically, when you see resources for cooperative learning, they're very much geared towards the primary grades, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, third grade. You can see that the fonts, the images they use, and even the names they use to pair students up is very primary, something that likely our older students aren't really to want to get on board with. So what I've done is I've changed the language so that it's more palpable for the upper elementary and middle school students, so that their collaboration is clearly defined, but it's using language that they feel comfortable with, or grown-up language. So for example, I have labels on all of the desks that tell students if they are odd, even, or A or B. If you were in a primary classroom and you wanted students to work as a pair, you might tell them, oh, work with your shoulder buddy, work with your knee buddy. Well, in upper elementary and middle school, that's probably not going to fly. But I can say, okay, it's odds and evens so that they know, oh, okay, odd numbers are going to work together, even numbers are going to work together. So that means 1 and 3 at my table will work together, 2 and 4 will work together. Or I'll label my desks with A's and B's. Okay, guys, A's are working together, B's are working together. And that way they know who's going to be communicating and collaborating for that specific activity. We're using more grown-up language so that they're more likely to buy in and interact with the game or task at hand. The other thing that I've gone ahead and changed is posters around the classroom. So another strategy of cooperative learning is to have students move throughout the classroom. Movement, interaction, all of these things are important in learning. So instead of having different silly names or fuzzy labels all around the classroom, what I do is I simply use the cardinal directions north, east, south, and west. I have those labeled around my classroom so that students know where to go if we're taking a survey or doing a poll. The last thing I did was I changed up the different activity names a little bit so that they also weren't as primary or as fuzzy. And you can see this all in my ISN tape-ins. So students know what the names of the games are, they know what the rules are, and they're very clear on what the directions will be. By changing the names of these different activities or games, it's giving them that more grown-up feel, more serious approach to learning, something that our older students need. Another way to make this strategy of cooperative learning or collaborative groups is to make sure that you're being completely transparent with your students. That means you're starting off by letting them know, hey, what exactly is collaboration? What do I mean by cooperative learning? You also want to make sure that you're letting them know all the different activities that they'll be participating in during this cooperative learning or collaboration time. If you check out my website, teachingintherealworld.com, I do have a free printable PDF, an interactive student notebook tape-in that you can use to tape into students' ISNs. This is great because it puts it onto them. It's something they can share with their parents, and also it's something that you can refer back to and have the students refer back to on any given day before the start of a cooperative learning activity. Everything is there in black and white. You'll also want to have a call to attention or a specific type of sound that you use only during this collaborative time. For me personally, I use a simple desk bell because it's loud and the students can hear it. Now, you want your students to be talking, discussing, and working together. The classroom is not going to be silent. It will get a little bit noisy. But what you need to make sure that you have to manage those behaviors is that you have a very clear call to attention and they know what to do when it happens. I even went as far as to assign the different number of bell dings to a different action. So for example, if I ding the bell once, that means switch partners. If I ding the bell twice, it means freeze. Everyone needs to listen up real quick. And if I ding the bell 3 times, then that means that everyone needs to either go back to their seat or stop what they're doing within their groups to pay attention. The class is coming back together. By only using this sound or call to attention during your cooperative learning time or during your collaborative group time, you're giving that sound impact, and it's something that students cannot ignore, and it will help with the behavior management during this time that can sometimes feel a little bit hectic, but totally worth it. And lastly, to make your cooperative learning groups or your small collaborative groups effective, you're going to want to make sure that you are consistent. Consistency is key here. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to do an elaborate cooperative learning activity every single day. Remember, cooperative learning is really students talking to each other, discussing what they're learning, thinking at higher levels, and solving problems out loud. It can be as simple as a think, pair, share with a partner. If you can offer at least 3 cooperative learning opportunities every single week, your students will become more and more comfortable with talking with each other and discussing their learning. And that will be of great value to them in the future, both in the classroom and beyond. You'll also want to make sure that you're referring back to those interactive student notebooks. You'll want to look at what cooperative learning is and what the different activities for cooperative learning entail. By having students refer back to their ISNs and reread the different skill sets and different activities that come with cooperative learning, you're really helping them to solidify it in their mind to use for the future. The final thing is don't forget to praise and celebrate. Even though these students are upper elementary or middle school, they still need praise. They still need you to let them know they're doing a good job and that you're proud of what they're doing. So use whatever positive reinforcement works for you, whether it's a pat on the back, a shout out to a student, a note to a parent letting them know how great they collaborated in class that day, whatever the case may be. Be sure to consistently praise and celebrate, especially those students who are a little bit reluctant. In the end, this strategy is super effective for students and will get them thinking outside of the box. Cooperative learning or small group collaboration can absolutely be an asset in your upper elementary and middle school classroom. Check out my website, Teaching in the Real World, for more resources that you can use to implement this tomorrow. No prep work needed. Just remember, if you're implementing this type of learning in your classroom, make sure you're using appropriate language and signage. 2, be transparent and clear. Make sure that you're letting students know what you expect from cooperative learning, what activities and strategies you'll be implementing, and what the rules are for those. Check out my interactive student notebook tape-in at teachingintherealworld.com under teacher resources. 3, make sure you have a clear call to attention, something that is used only when you are doing these cooperative learning groups. By having a clear call to attention that's only used during this specific time, it will definitely help with your behavior management. Lastly, Don't forget to use your cooperative learning strategies often and give lots of praise. And make sure that you're letting students know that what they're doing matters. Be sure to check out my website, teachingintherealworld.com. I've got a blog post that leads you through how I use cooperative learning in my classroom, as well as a printable PDF step-by-step guide that includes desk labels, posters for your classroom, and an interactive student notebook tape-in. I hope that you'll try cooperative learning groups in your class tomorrow, and happy teaching.